Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
These guys are raring to go. I love it. It's a special playoff edition of the Ravens Wrap Show. Right here on Comcast Beach TV at Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Blue Ox in the Ravens Room here, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. With, of course, you heard of Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about just briefly, the Ravens win over the Cincinnati Bengals. We've got lots of playoff talk. We've got grades to give out to the team at the end of the year, and of course, the upcoming playoff game against the Houston Texans. We want to thank our fine sponsors, the original Green Turtle. It is their Ravens Wrap Show. Also, the Blue Ox, Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and JCTickets.net. It's Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Tony Lombardi, editor-in-chief of Ravens247.com.
Still Ravens247.
Yeah, still for now, Ravens247.com voted Baltimore's best. To his left, Lehigh College player, OC local, John Gary. Guys, Happy New Year to you. Welcome in.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I tell you what,
Happy Festivus.
Yeah, Happy Festivus. We didn't bring the Festivus poll. We forgot, we should have brought the Festivus poll. Although I don't think we have a lot of grievances with a 12-4 season this year.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Well, we do like to nitpick on the show.
You know, we do have John Garrick.
Yeah, we do have John the Grinch.
We could have had 2 home games.
Yeah. Well, guys, I will be the first ones to admit that I'm very happy that I was wrong. Way back a few weeks ago, my prediction, I'll be a man here and own up to it. I predicted the Bengals. Now, at the time, I didn't know that Marshall Yanda was going to play, that Kerry Williams was going to end up playing. Obviously, that's a huge, huge pieces for the team. But I'm happy.
So that's a qualified admission of guilt.
It's a qualified admission of guilt. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, calling me out. But I am very happy to be wrong. The Ravens 24-16 winners, guys. And look, they took care of business. They knew it was on the line, Tony, and they needed that first round bye. They got it.
Well, you talked about, Mike, the 12-4 team and the fact that there's not a lot to complain about. If you listen to Baltimore Sports Talk Radio, there's a lot to complain about. You think the team was 4-12, and you have to sit there and wonder, why is there such angst? And I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that they lost to 4 games that they probably shouldn't have lost, or at least 3 of those 4 they shouldn't have lost. They got spanked in San Diego, and I was there for that misery. But anyway, it's one of those things, I think, that there's expectations with the team, and sometimes they don't reach those expectations offensively. And when that happens, I think there's a little bit of frustration. But look around the league, folks. There is no team that doesn't have its fair share of warts. Ravens are one of them, but there's no perfect team out there. And I would venture to say that of the teams that are still alive, of the 8 teams, the one that worries me the most is the New York Giants. And they're just playing, I mean, they're looking a lot like that 2017. Fortunately, if we have to play them, it'll be in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
true. John, 4 straight years, though. Only team in the NFL of recent memory to 4 straight years in the playoffs. I mean, there's something to be said for that with this organization.
Yeah, won a game in each of the previous 3. I think we're going to win this one, too. So, this is a situation, and we talked about, and this is kind of what led to some of the angst, was, let's get some home games, because what is it, 18 and 19, 18 of the 19 last have been wins at home.
Right, so 8 in a row.
No one's coming into the bank in that atmosphere with this pent-up emotion since the Colts game when we lost that game. Yeah. Now here, fast forward, this rookie guy, Yates, he's got no shot. Now, you talk about the Bengals. There was another guy on this panel that called hit the screws right on the head with the number 24-16 right there.
I mean,
Houston's got no shot.
You got to do the Rodgers thing.
I don't have to do the Raji piece, do I?
That's right. That's the second statement of our commercial. Oh, guys, you go through the checklist here, okay? Take care of your division. 6-0 this year, 8-0 at home. They win the AFC North. They get the first round bye, and we get a home game. We've talked about this team having to go on the road so many times, with 7 times here for Flacco and Rice and company and Harbaugh, 4-3. But at the end of the day, you dig yourself a tough hole when you have to win constantly on the road. Finally, they've got a home game. Who knows, far-reaching. If Denver did something, maybe we get a second game, but at least we get that first one.
Yeah, we do. And the other thing to add to that, Mike, they're 6-0 against the teams that were in the playoffs. So that's a big stat, too. I don't think any other team can say that they're undefeated against the other playoff teams. So they've beaten quality opponents. And I think their strength of victory this year is probably the best in the NFL.
So now we go back to Jacksonville and Seattle.
Tennessee.
And that's why there's the talk radio stuff.
Of what could have been hosting your own show. Of course, we didn't know that. But guys,
we're the worst 12-4 team in history. We would have been the worst 15-1 team in history too. I mean, that's the fans. You know what I mean? But hey, I've had my fair share of complaints, but it's just exciting. There's a different vibe than
they're feeling here tonight.
This year,
it's awesome.
The previous 3 years, we didn't have. I mean, we were in the playoffs, felt great, but home playoffs. A little extra edge on that.
That's big. That's big. And I tell you what, everybody I think remembers that loss to the Colts back, and we got 30 seconds back in 2006, early 2007 actually. That's a loss I'm not sure I'll ever get over, but I tell you what, this will go a good way in at least trying to erase some of that memory and going forward, because that stuck in a crawl. But time to kind of, move on with the past, go forward, and look to a bright future, hopefully Super Bowl, one game at a time. We'll talk more about it.
2 games away.
Yeah, that's right. Lots coming up here. This is the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. We'll be back. Keep it there.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
Welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach, broadcasting from the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, and John Garrick. And guys, I'm going to sprinkle in just some numbers here and there as we kind of reflect on this season and all the accomplishments. One that sticks out here, and you guys get the press guides as well as I do with the email from the Ravens, and they do a great job.
Yeah, but you read them.
Yeah, well, true. Well, I love numbers. Ravens News 44 knows that. But here's something that sticks out. 3.53. That's yards per rush the Ravens defense allowed this year. That's the NFL's second best, second just to San Francisco, that is. They've now held foes to under 4 yards per carry in each of their existing years from 1996 to 2011. Folks, that's an NFL record 16 consecutive season streak that no other team has produced. I think there's something to be said for that. Make it 2
Well, you could feel safe saying that's probably an organizational philosophy.
Well, that's true.
Stop the run and force them to throw, make them one-dimensional. So that stat really backs that up.
I mean, you go through this: scoring defense third this year, total defense third this year. Ironically, Houston and Pittsburgh number 2 and number 1 in front of us. Red zone defense number 1. New defensive coordinator, and Chuck Pagano's a real good one, guys. But it's just kind of you plug these guys in and they keep the same philosophy, but boy, I mean, it still comes down to personnel at the end of the day.
It does come down to personnel. When you've got 52, 20, and 55, and 92 on your team, I mean, it's pretty easy to be a coordinator, I would think, relatively speaking. But props to Chuck Pagano because he came in, taking the empty shoes of Greg Madison, who was I know you're a fan because he's a Michigan guy.
I tell you what, he was more aggressive with Michigan than he was with the Ravens blitzing. I was shocked by that. But
maybe it was John Harbaugh. Who knows?
Maybe so. He's got a worse secondary in Michigan too.
But he's come in. He's re-engaged. I think that defensive DNA of the Ravens. They like to get after you and be multiple and show you a lot of different looks. And T.J. Yates is going to figure that out this week.
Yeah, this is kind of beneficial. The last time Houston came in, first game without Mario Williams and Andre Johnson, but they had Schaub. So now they have Andre Johnson back, but I'd rather have Andre Johnson on the field than Matt Schaub on the field.
I agree 100%.
And this is just a deal. You talk about the defense. It's a culture. It's just a way. You talk about play like a Raven and all the what's our name or whatever phrase, whatever slogan.
Well, that was the slogan back in Harbaug's first year. Right?
Yeah,
well, this year it's relentless. Yeah.
So whatever slogan you want to put out there, whatever phraseology you want to use, it's all about the tone that's set with that defense. And you're right, 52's been there the whole time, and these young guys come in and buy in. And, you just got to punch people in the mouth. We talk about it a lot, and the Ravens succeed in doing it, and they're going to need to punch Arian Foster in the mouth, too, because the guy can run the ball.
Well, that's true. Well, we'll talk about the upcoming game against the Texans a little bit later on. We'll preview that game. I know, Tony, you wanted to mention something I brought up, that early 2007 loss to the Colts. By the way, an interesting tweet by Jim Irsay that he made earlier this week. But you want to talk about that game, I'll let you mention the tweet.
Well, you should mention the tweet.
Well, the tweet basically said how sweet it would be if the Ravens hoisted the Super Bowl trophy in Indianapolis this year. I mean, that's a class guy for saying that. That's a class guy for saying that.
I don't know if I go that far.
Well,
but he did.
Well, he certainly didn't have to say that. That's a pretty big
He said, "I want to see my boy Stevie B."
Yeah.
Stevie B and hoist the Lombardi. By the name, great name, by the way. What's the thing? Lombardi for a trophy. Hoist the Lombardi, emphasis. And the other thing, too, he said was that it'd be good because Raymond Berry, as you said, was going to be there. He's going to be the one presenting that trophy. So it comes full circle, hopefully, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's lining up, again, one game at a time. I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Right.
But, boy,
nor should we.
As Kevin Coward talked about in The Sun, boy, I mean, things are aligning, Jupiter and Mars.
And segueing off that one game at a time, what I wanted to mention was that when the Colts were here in 2007, the last time we hosted a playoff game.
A divisional game, yeah.
Right. It was a divisional game, had the bye, Steve McNair, 13-3 team. That was a team that was a really strong team, arguably the strongest team in the tournament at that time. Everybody was saying that the Ravens look like they're going to win the Super Bowl. So I think a lot of, not only the players, but even the fans look beyond the Colts. But I'm sensing a vibe here tonight that we learned a lesson as fans from that. Not going to take this game lightly. And while we asked the players to bring their A game, and belly up to the bar and give it 110%, fans are going to do the same thing.
But there's a problem with that team coming down the stretch when you look back, the benefit of hindsight. We talked about this back then. I think the last game was against the Bills. I mean, we were really struggling. When the Ravens won the Super Bowl in 2000, they were smoking their way through to the finish line.
Yeah, it's like McNair went from 33 to 63 in a week.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, they were just playing poorly, even though they were winning down the stretch. So the Ravens, and that's why you're talking about the Giants, I think, right now. They're just, they are really
hot at the right time.
Really,
and that's what you always look at the Packers last year. Yeah. Got hot at the right time.
So Ravens aren't necessarily hot, but they're not cold. And I still get the feeling that the Ravens just haven't put it together yet. So that's
So their best is still to come. Yeah. That's certainly a good sign. And we got 30 seconds. You apropos put on your website Ravens247.com about the fact just like Matt Ryan was able to make audibles up at Giant Stadium, don't let T.J. Yates make audibles at M&T Bank Stadium. Tony, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. So I
got a stat about T.J. Yates when we come back.
All right, coming up more, we'll preview it. We've got lots going on. It's the Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Speech TV, and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. We'll be back. All right.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.